If we are to shine, may we shine as the stars do, which grow brightly in the darkness and illuminate the beauty of all that surrounds them. If we are to heal, may we heal as the forests do, which regenerate following the harshest of fires and the coldest of winters. If we are to grow, may we grow as the plants do, slowly, with stability, directed toward the light. If we are to let go, may we do so as the trees do, shedding and releasing what is old in order to make way for the new. If we are to move forward, may we flow freely as the rivers do, which surrender to their paths gently without resistance. If we are to transform, may we transform as the moon does, which continues to shine in all of its phases, knowing that it is no less beautiful when it isn't perfect or whole. And if we are to live, may we live as those before us did, bravely, boldly, passionately, and purposefully, and may we never lose touch with the dreams that lie dormant within us. The author is Talia Hunter. As we begin, let us bring the block to between our feet and hold on and sit tall. And as your feet press into the block and into the floor, as you hold on and sit tall, just feel the traction where it is. So while you hold the block, angle it, bring it up and in. And what that means is you can pick it up and then these muscles will be more engaged, yeah? Which means as you put it down, there might be a little bit more give and a willingness of your body to come into a hip hinge. Good. As you inhale and come upright, turn the block low and park one foot on top and one foot a little closer, so that top foot is a little bit more in front and we can come into a hip hinge. So when we make anything asymmetrical, there is more give in the body. Inhale and come back, and exhale and switch. Here comes one ahead of the other with a little bit of height. And therefore, we're not concerned about trying to make it even on each side. Excellent. As you come off your prop, keep one foot in that external rotation and take the other to the internal rotation, and make it a point right away to pull the back foot in as close as you can, and to use one or both blocks so that you are rotating, aiming the forearms to the floor, reaching forward with the forearms into the block, and driving the inner knee down and in. So right away, all that great action that we know. We want to stay here with a little bit of variation, and that is to lift the pelvis and just notice where we are, meaning that when we come back to the floor, we are nowhere near the sitting bone, we're at the outer thigh. As we do, can we pull the legs in toward each other, pull the arms in instead of pushing forward, and move the sternum forward. With the next inhalation, lift again. It's not about going high. And as you exhale next, as you settle in, this time we're going to focus on the back foot and notice if we can keep the knee with the floor and lift the back foot. So all of a sudden we have some hamstring and outer glute engagement, and it's mostly hamstring, I'd like to think. Right. Lastly, as you give it a rest and you take the arm that you turned toward, so I turned toward the left, my left arm is going ahead on the block, nice and long. And I'm going to ignore the other block and take that arm underneath. And the idea is to plant the palm and pull. I want to pull. So the top hand pushes, the bottom hand pulls, the legs draw toward each other, and the spine lengthens. So there's no sinking here, there's extension. And just breathe. The breath goes into the back of the rib cage. Wonderful. As we get toward the other side, in between, just to notice the difference, appreciate the residue, we'll put the blocks down and come into a tall plank. What that means is that we're here. And as we lean in, as we challenge the wrists without overdoing the shoulders, we're going to bend in the elbows a little bit and just notice bringing the elbows close to the torso. And then straightening the arms and heading back into downward facing dog, really sending the head and shoulders back, really sending the sitting bones up and back. Come back into your plank and just feel that despite all of that, one side still feels a little bit different. Come in again, lean slightly in, bend in the elbows, any amount, and press away. And then here we go, drawing back. If before you had turned to the left, then as you bend your knees and squat, swivel over to the left, vice versa. As you're ready to make your way over to the other side, just know that we are heading toward repeating what we just did over at the other side. So rotate yet again, and now you're ready. So knees bent, foot into the other leg, turning, using the block and settling in. Exactly. So at first we'll do something that we know. I want to press forward with the forearms, anchor through the lower body, pull the back foot in nice and close, all of that. As you're ready to lift the pelvis, feel what gives in the side ribs. Accept that it's a little bit different over here and settle down in. Instead, we're going to pull the elbows in, pull the legs toward each other, lengthen the sternum forward, and keep focusing on that sense of lift. Beautiful. Right. We're lifting yet again, just to engage a few muscles, wake up the core, charge the shoulders, all of those good things. And as we settle in this time, we are aiming to lift the outside foot. So this more involved internal rotation. There might be a little bit more mobility. It's not about going far. And as you give it a rest, and as you go again, one more lift. Settle down, reach the block away. I'm turning to the right, so my right arm has the block. I'm going to ignore the block on the other side, reach through and pull. My bottom hand is pulling back. My top hand is pushing forward. The legs still draw toward each other. Long neck. And release. So from here, we're going to roll up the blanket tightly. And as we do, we will place it at the bottom end of the mat, and we'll use it underneath our feet. We'll do a little bit of traction twist. That's where we're headed. So I'm here. I want to place my feet so they're wide. And comfortably close. So I have a tightly rolled up mat, a tightly rolled up blanket. Underneath my feet are wide. And I'm going to encourage that we take the arms wide, explore palms up, palms down, and a little bit of traction twist, dropping the knees to one side, up and over to the other side. We'll try this a few more repetitions and we're going to be specific, and then we'll settle in. While your feet are slightly flexed, toes back towards you, I want us to focus on not bearing into the roll to make the movement happen. So we practiced this before. The idea is to use the deep hip flexors and the deep core to draw up the weight of the legs back to center, and then to relax and allow the legs to drop in the other direction. Same idea, so we're not using the ground forces by pushing our feet down. We're drawing from the center of the body, core engagement, inviting the legs up to center, and then relaxing to drop the legs in the other direction. It's just a different way of getting there. So we'll try that 2 more times, but at the end points, if you wish to lift your head and just notice the leg that has internal rotation runs with the length of your body. And the idea, the action while you're here, is to reach the inner knee away from the crown of your head. Feel the lift of the pelvic floor. Shoulder blades stay at the floor. Relax and use core engagement to invite the legs back up. Dropping them in the other direction, making the adjustment, reaching the inner knee away from the crown of the head. And then inhaling to bring the legs from the core back up to center. This time, if you will, you may decide that your feet might need to come closer to each other, but still they're wider than your sitting bones. And the idea is to drop the knees against each other at the midline so that you turn off the lower back, the inner thighs, the bones rest on each other. We'll stay here for just a few breaths and then we'll continue to settle in. When you're ready for change, I'm going to encourage that we not only drape the legs over, but that we pull the roll really close. So it comes right up against the sitting bones. You can tuck it around you and then drape the legs over. So now we get to traction the psoas muscles and the lower back. An elongated breath. Bring your knees to your chest. Roll to one side. Come up and sit. Bring your hands to your heart to seal your practice and acknowledge the space between us, the energy around us, that we are here for each other. Namaste.